Lufkens. He's the Associate Director of Media for the World Economic Forum. And he's going to talk a little bit about Twitter diplomacy, which is kind of a fun topic of the world leaders, how they're kind of interacting online these days. So whenever I have a moment, I'll bring up Matthias.
Hello everyone. Where's the slide? Not there yet. Hands up for those who've seen this tweet. This could have been one of the most historic tweets ever. It is the one-word reaction of Barack Obama to receiving the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009. The problem, he didn't tweet it himself. Somebody who occasionally tweets himself is the Russian president. We've seen him here sending his first tweet at Twitter headquarters in last June. The Russian president tweets in English and in Russian, and actually his Twitter account is quite interesting. He just created a personal one, which always comes in quite handy, especially if you're going into electoral campaigns in Russia in March 2012. He might not have much time to tweet himself, but he loves to take pictures. And these pictures go up on TwitPic. So this is a picture he took at the Toronto G8 Summit last June. A month ago, he visited the disputed Kuril Islands on the far eastern side of the Russian Empire, and he took this picture of the island of Kunashir. I don't think it went down very well with the Japanese authorities, who actually called in the Russian ambassadors. And just 2 weeks ago, he test drove the new the new Samsung Galaxy Tab, and the presidential verdict is, it's convenient, but the quality isn't great. Smiley. I guess Samsung wasn't too happy about this tweet, which has been seen by over 12,000 people. His arrival on Twitter was immediately greeted by his peers in Washington and in London. And the White House, number 10 Downing Street, and the Kremlin are now mutually following each other. They can actually do secret Twitter diplomacy. Twitlomacy. This is more secure than the US diplomatic cables, I believe. What is interesting is the number 10 Downing Street and the Kremlin are both mutually following the Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper. The White House totally ignores the Canadian Prime Minister or the Mexican President or all other G20 leaders, and 13 of them are on Twitter. Just very recently, number 10 started to follow unilaterally the French President and all the other G20 leaders. Only the Australian Prime Minister Juliette Gillard has actually replied to this overture. The French President still has not reciprocated. Why? He doesn't follow anyone. He doesn't even follow his ministers. So, which is a bit sad. His staff tweets his daily schedule, and in true French style, the Twitter account goes on extended summer leave, so there was only one tweet between May and August this year. Interestingly enough, it's in Latin America that presidents and prime ministers use Twitter the most. And not only since the miraculous rescue of the Chilean miners, which is greeted here by the Argentinian president. 9 presidents and prime ministers in Latin America are on Twitter, and some of them are following each other. The most connected ones are the Argentinian president, the president of Chile, the Mexican president, and the president of Venezuela. Hugo Chavez is actually one of the chattiest leaders you can find. He replies to his followers, sends condolences to Cristina Fernandez, and congratulates Dilma Rousseff, the new president-elect of Brazil, to her election win, and converses with Felipe Calderón. Very interesting, it's all in Spanish. Now what does this mean for us? We can now reach our world leaders just by sending them an app mention. Try it. They might not read your tweet personally, but their staff definitely will. Arnold Schwarzenegger has understood this, and he quite often organizes tweetcasts, gives Twitter interviews, and goes directly to his followers. And finally, also the most secretive state has adopted Twitter. Uri Minzok is the North Korea's attempt at public diplomacy, and they love to TwitPic, and on TwitPic you cannot moderate comments, hence the immortal leader looking Reagan as ever, or this comment on the Mass Gymnastics and Artistic Performance Ariran Festival Space Invaders gameplay. Thank you very much for your attention. You can find the G20 list on our Twitter account as well as a collection of the 60 world leaders on Twitter, and this presentation is also available on SlideShare. Thank you very much.